Come on.
Good morning, everybody. It is Championship Sunday. We made it. Week 17. Hopefully you didn't get Derrick Henry last night, or hopefully you Derrick Henry somebody else. And now you're up 45 points going into the Sunday games. Guys, I've got some really fun guests here with us today. I have got two brothers who are going to be bringing it today with all your info to help you win your championship. I have got Matt and Ryan Montgomery joining us. Not at all from their parents' basement. Don't you think that? No. They are here with us from Dynasty Degens. They're going to be, like I said, giving you guys all sorts of news and updates. And we're going to be going over the latest storylines, injuries as they come in. We're going to get you some DFS info, because if you're not in your championship, why do you care, right? Obviously, you're here to watch us because, of course, you would be. But we're going to give you some good, actionable information. Go into the new year, maybe with a little bit more change in your pocket. Hopefully, But guys, before we get into all that, kind of want to just mention something that happened this weekend, and just something really, really tragic that went on. I'm sure if you guys are, subscribers to Player Profiler, and following us online, you probably already saw this, but unfortunately, one of our family here at Player Profiler passed away on Friday, and we just want to, let everybody know, we're thinking of Memphis Young and his family right now, and just how tragic and awful this whole situation is, and this is a loss that is not only felt with our family here at Player Profiler, but just in the fantasy community. In general, just somebody who is just absolutely beloved. And there's been a GoFundMe link that has been posted, and it's been circulated out there on the internet. I'm going to put it here in the chat if you guys feel inclined to help his family out right now, maybe take some stress off of their plates. We're going to put that in the chat. But yeah, so really, really just sad. And guys, feel free to share that link too if you want, while you're, out today online, and maybe just post some good memories that you might have, of Memphis and everything. I'm sure that would just be a lot of comfort for a lot of people. But yeah, no real easy way to, transition from something like that. So just do it. But guys, welcome, Matt and Ryan. Thank you guys for joining me on this holiday weekend. I know everybody's got so much going on with family and stuff like that. So I really appreciate you guys taking your Sunday to hang out with us. But how are you guys doing? You guys have a good Christmas?
Oh, yeah, it was good. I want to point out that I am indeed streaming from my parents' basement. So shout out to the troll that called that a year and a half ago. It finally happened. And I have no shame. All right. My dad's got this super fancy screen in front of me it made me change my appearance. Thankfully, Stacy knows all of the tips and tricks to get everything, making this look okay. I've got a super bright light. I can barely see the screen. But I am indeed in my parents' basement, talking game with my little brother. And of course, Stacy, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to see Ryan, who knocked it out of the park, the one podcast appearance he's ever done, going 14-15 on some betting lines. Good luck trying to top that bad boy. But you know what? It wouldn't shock me if he put his best stuff for you and not me.
Oh, I definitely would. But thank you so much for having me, Stacy. I really do appreciate it. I am not streaming from my parents' basement. Matt needs to, obviously. But I'm just very excited to be on here talking football. What better way to spend your Sunday, right?
Absolutely. I can't really honestly think of a better way than hanging out with you guys, helping everybody try to win their championships. I've got a few teams going right now live. Hopefully Trey McBride comes through for me. I had Jahmyr Gibbs on all three of those teams, and guess what? That didn't work out well. So how about you guys? Matt, I know you're in the Kings Classic Championship this week, right?
I am, and if Gary Davenport is watching, look at me. I am taking the crown, all right? I have been wanting to get in this league for years. I get in it. I am in the final game in year one. I've had a really strong start, but we all know how this game goes. It takes like one game, one performance, a Derrick Henry performance like we saw last night, and all of it flips. So coming into Sunday at 11:06 a.m., your boy's feeling pretty good. I might show up with a crown, a Burger King crown, whatever kind of crown next year. But right now, I'm feeling really good. I hope all of this talk about it is not going to jinx me. Ryan and I are actually playing in a home league championship with all of our friends. Ryan has won this league the 2 years that it has been in since it's been live. So he is going for a three-peat in the 3rd year, and it is up to me, big brother, to slay the dragon of our home league championship, and I cannot wait to be the one that finally puts him back in his place.
I have a question for you real quick, because you guys are big IDP guys, and you're doing the IDP Kings Classic, so I want to know, did anybody go and pick up Jason Pierre-Paul this week?
Not that I saw, but my goodness, if you got, it doesn't matter how many fingers JPP has, he's going to get to the quarterback. The guy is just, he was great at his peak, and even towards the end with his Tampa years, he wasn't awful, but he just wasn't that same guy. I do think the fireworks kind of exploded the IDP play out of him, unfortunately.
Jason Pierre-Paul, alum of my college university at South Florida. Funny enough, the only players that, at least the ones that I know of, who made it to the NFL from USF also have 3 names: Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jason Pierre-Paul.
That's an interesting and weird nugget. I would never have known.
little bit of bar trivia for you. If that comes up in bar trivia, I don't know, but
you're gonna knock it out of the park,
right? Guys, we've got a lot of good questions already in the chat. Everybody who's watching either online, throw your questions in there, get them in. If you're watching on TikTok, we're there too today. So if you want to get questions in, jump on over to the Player Profiler Now YouTube. You can see us. We're streaming live there. You can get those questions in so that we can see it. Don't want to miss them. On TikTok, it goes pretty quickly over there. But yeah, so we got a few things here. We got, let's see, right off the bat, Tonjes or Loveland. Ooh, because Kittle's out, right? So well, not officially, but kind of officially out. Like, it came out this morning that he's unlikely to play. So we got Jake Tonjes, we got Colson Loveland. Yuck.
Yeah, I like Tonjes. He was really good at the beginning of the year. It didn't look like the whole Harold Fannin versus Njoku thing, where it was like quite clear that Fannin was going to take that job over. Nobody's taking the job from Kittle while he's healthy. That being said, the Kyle Shanahan offense did not change with Kittle being out of the lineup. It was still a heavy focused. He was a big part of the game plan, and Tonjes showed us that he can take on that load and deliver some pretty good results. I like Tonjes, not that I dislike Loveland, but Loveland is kind of dependent upon the Caleb Williams experience, which will sometimes be fantastic, and sometimes it's going to be like oh my gosh, why is he throwing it? I think Loveland is the better player. So if you've got a good team and you want that solid floor, I would probably go with Loveland. But I'm a dice roller, as is my little brother on here. He loves to gamble. I think I'm going Tonjes.
I think you have to go Tonjes today. I mean, like, everything that you said. I mean, he came in when Kittle was hurt. You know, you were grabbing him off waivers. He did really well for you the weeks that he played. And I mean, I don't know, Pearsall may or may not be back. I don't even think that really matters at this point. But I like Tonjes over Loveland, and that's not my bitter Packer heart speaking at all for you. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
I think for me, I got to go Loveland. I got to be the contrarian opinion here. Only because I think Loveland's got the floor. You mentioned if you want a safe floor, go Loveland. And I think you don't want to get cute in a Super Bowl matchup. If you're in a championship, you need the guaranteed points. And Tonjes, well, yes, he filled in well for Kittle. At the end of the day, he's still a backup. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, you could get the bad Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl like we had a couple of years ago where he threw 4 or 5 interceptions. And then suddenly, especially if you're in a tight end premium league, you're losing your week. I think what you need here in this kind of matchup is a steady floor, and I think Loveland gives you that more than Tonjes does. Tonjes could win you the week, but just as easily, I think he could lose you the week, and I don't think Loveland will.
There you go. Jeff wants to know, we're going to start it's a PPR. We're going to start Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Warren, DJ Moore, or Bucky Irving against Miami today. Oof.
I love Gainwell. We were talking about it offline here. I got the Gainwell gift, as I've been calling it, of the random I was on the ground, I'm going to get up and score a touchdown catch last week. Gainwell has been good this year. I don't think that means that Jalen Warren has been bad, but Gainwell, I don't think anybody had any expectation that he was going to be a part of this offense to the level that he has been this year. So I'm going Gainwell, and it's strictly because they've been starting to line him up at receiver too. They've been playing Warren a lot in the backfield, and they've been playing both of them in the same packages in the game. But Gainwell was lining up at receiver, so you're getting those cheap PPR points or half PPR, whatever league you play in. So I like Gainwell. I'm not a Bucky Irving guy. I think that they've got too many running backs in Tampa Bay. You can speak to that more than I can, I'm sure, Stacy. But I just don't. I don't believe, and I'm with Ryan on the whole. It's your fantasy championship. Do not take those type of risks. I think that DJ Moore has showed over the course of the last 3 to 4 weeks, whatever mood he was in at the beginning of the year, and I'll use mood. I don't really know what's going on there, but he was a top receiver for 3 to 4 straight years, where it was a set and forget type of a player. He kind of went down a little bit this year, but we're starting to see a resurgence with Caleb Williams as the confidence is growing. The whole team is playing better. The ceiling is raising for this team, specifically the receiving options, kind of like Ryan said with Loveland. I like DJ Moore here as kind of the number one receiver for Chicago, especially with all of their injury nonsense that they've been going with. So give me Kenneth Gainwell and DJ Moore.
Yeah, I tend to agree with those two as much as it pains me to pick DJ Moore after how he slayed the Packers a few weeks ago. I mean, he's just been more consistent, right? 20 plus points over the last 2 games. And they're banged up. Rome's banged up. Luther's banged up. So I like that. And Kenny G, he's just been so good. He's been so good. And it's always going to be like those random players that win you your championships, right? It's not going to be the guy that you picked in the first round, right? Unless it's Derrick Henry this weekend, it might be. But you probably got him in the second, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be somebody random. Like Cole Beasley won me a championship a few years ago, right? Like we all have those stories. Somebody random that's going to come up and rise up today and just kind of take it all for you. And it can very well be DJ Moore or Kenny Gainwell. Ryan, do you want to be contrarian again? I hope so.
He's going to.
I don't think so. I think you guys said it perfectly with Gainwell and DJ Moore. I think, the injuries to Romo Dunze, Luther's banged up. At some point you have to have somebody that can catch the ball, and DJ Moore is one of those guys. So I feel like opportunity is points, and then he's got the highest opportunity to be one of probably the leading target receivers of that team aside from Loveland. And like you mentioned on Gainwell's on a heater. You don't sit your studs. If you got something there and there's lightning in a bottle, you're not going to sit the lightning in a bottle before the year's over. I think you just have to kind of ride that wave and see what happens. That's probably the most, lottery ticket play you could have. Even though Warren may be seen as the starter, quote unquote, I think Ken Gainwell has proven that he can win you the week.
Yeah. Ryan, I'm going to keep it with you because you are our resident Jags fan. Show everybody your Jags Christmas sweater.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
Yes. Okay. So we got Jags run defense today going against Jonathan Taylor. How is this going to shake out? Because I think he did pretty good the first time that they played them, right? I think 74 yards? Something
only
like
74 yards rushing. I think a lot of people... what the media doesn't tell you, I think, because you've got the small market Jacksonville team. They're arguably the hottest team in football right now that nobody is talking about. It's the team nobody wants to play. If they're a wild card team, you don't want to play them round 1. You don't want to play them any round. And part of the reason why has been the defense this year. They may not look sexy on paper, but they're holding guys like Jonathan Taylor to not great weeks, at least fantasy-wise. And I think that continues. The defense is finally starting to get healthy. You have a fully healthy Trayvon Walker, who's had a lot of really difficult stretches of just like lingering, nagging kind of injuries. And you're finally starting to see that unit get back to full health. And they were already good before that. Yeah. So, it's the sky's the limit for Jacksonville right now, especially that run defense.
Nice. Matt, any things you want to join in?
As much as I would love to poke fun at my little brother's fandom of terrible teams, I am 100% in agreement that the Jaguars have been so fun to watch, and it's because it's come out of nowhere. Everybody has written Trevor Lawrence off as a bust. Yeah. And I think we've written him off as a bust because we expected him to be Andrew Luck and John Elway. But the reality of the team is he is finally playing, and Ryan has said this to me many times this week specifically, he is playing like Clemson Trevor Lawrence. And that guy was lauded as the best prospect in the draft. There was no close second. But to get to the defense, I exactly feel what Ryan feels. Trayvon Walker was a number 1 pick in his own right at one point in time. Injuries have nagged him, have kind of slowed the development of him. But when he is healthy, he is a premier option on the edge. Josh Hines-Allen, believe it or not, is the team's all-time sack leader. So it's not like he is also not a great edge rusher in his own right. The middle of it, Foye Oluokun, who is a tackle monster. That guy, if you get to Foye, 99.9% of the time you are going on the ground. That guy does not miss tackles. He is an elite guy. And then their secondary has been a revelation in a way. It's been sort of a I don't want to say it's been a rotation, but they've never really had guys that have stood out. But this unit this year has stepped up, and they held a Denver Broncos team at home. They just stopped them. That's not a Sean Payton offense.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like it was just a random coach in waiting who doesn't really know what he's doing. Sean Payton, the offensive genius, they stomped them, and a lot of that is because of the confidence that Trevor Lawrence is finally inspiring into this team, and the Duval that our boy Liam Cohen is bringing to the mainstream. Ryan's been saying Duval for years, and I never got it. I trolled him so much when Liam Cohen went out there and said it as awkwardly as he did. But you know what? Egg on my face. Ryan's been a believer since the dark, dark days, the Blake Bortles in the AFC Championship days. So you know what? I'm just happy to see my little brother smile with his actual NFL fandom, not his fantasy fandom.
Ryan, how'd you become a Jags fan?
Oddly enough, when I was like, I think I was probably like 7 or 8. I was playing Madden, and I told my dad, like, "Hey, what team should I do a franchise with?" And my dad said, "Pick the Jaguars. They're terrible." And here we are. I just love them forever.
That's amazing. I love stories like that.
The David Garrard, Chad Henne days to now with Trevor Lawrence. It's just nice to finally get a win.
There's some deep cuts. Fantastic. Did you went to college with Coach? No way.
No
way.
That's great.
You should have studied with him more, Mike. Man, you'd be on the sideline somewhere.
Yeah, seriously. You could have been besties. You could be working for the Jags now. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. We have got Panthers, NFC South, which is pretty gross, but the Panthers can clinch today with a win and with a Bucs loss. Do we think that this actually happens today? They are playing the Seahawks at home. Bucs are playing Miami today.
I don't think it happens, but spoiler alert, this was the game that I was the most excited about, so I won't give away all of my tidbits here, but I do think that that's a tough task. One, you have to be – if there was one other team that you could argue besides the Jaguars that's the hottest team in football or a team that you don't want to play, it is the Seattle Seahawks right now. When you get good Sam Darnold, good things happen. The problem is you don't always get good Sam Darnold, so there's always that possibility that he turns into Brett Favre, but it's like the Brett Favre that throws the interception for the Vikings to end the game, where it's like, why is he throwing the ball? Sam Darnold can do that for you. At the same time, I hate scenarios that rely on other teams' performance. You just don't – these guys are still playing for incentives. You've got some incentives written down for later. These guys are still playing for something, so they're not just going to take it off and go, you know what? We're eliminated. Go ahead and run all over me. I don't need another contract. That's not how this game works. Max Crosby plays for a terrible, terrible Raiders team and got shut down and is now posting cryptic Instagram videos where he's shooting a basketball like he's a star athlete that can do anything because he is mad that he's not going to be able to get on the field despite clearly being injured. So I do not like scenarios that rely on another thing happening, but it's a tall task ahead of the Panthers anyway to beat the Seattle Seahawks this week.
Yeah, I saw him jumping on a trampoline today, and I was like, that's not good. That's not good for the Raiders. All right, we got a quick question in here. We want to know Charbonnet or Tajay Spears today. Who wants to
I love Charbonnet, but I hate playing Charbonnet. It's the best skit I have ever seen is the Madden skit where somebody's playing as Ken Walker and they have like an 80-yard touchdown and then they have an 80-yard run and they get to like the 15-yard line. They have him run it and then they dive down. They go, oh, dive down. And he gets down the 1-yard line. They're like, all right, cool, Charbonnet, get in there. That is exactly what happens in this team. Charbonnet is not going to get the 15 to 20 touches you want from an elite running back. But for whatever reason, that offense likes him in the red zone. And if you're in a week that you need somebody to just kind of have a cheap 1 or 2 touchdown game, maybe on 10 total touches, Charbonnet is the perfect guy to throw in there. And quite frankly, Tajay Spears has just destroyed me for 2 or 3 years, and I am just not going to put up with that anymore. Tony Pollard is not a bad running back. I never know what to do, and it's a Tennessee Titans player. I don't want my championship hinging on a Titans player.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't want any hopes and dreams relying solely on the Tennessee Titans. That's just because if you lose because of that, you're going to hate yourself.
Oh.
You are absolutely going to hate yourself for that. I like Charbonnet too. I've always really liked him, especially coming out of college. And I was kind of bummed that he went to Seattle, just being in that weird kind of mix with Ken Walker. But yeah, I mean, you know how they're going to use him. Like there's some comfort in knowing, a guy's usage there. Real quick, anybody getting cute and starting Cal Williams over Tet? Tet popped up on injury list this week as an illness, but it says he's going to play. He needs to channel his inner Michael Jordan and have a flu game because I actually need him to do that. So if he could, that'd be fantastic. I couldn't in good conscience start him over Kyle Williams though. Even with
he's not the only one with an illness. Me seeing that question made me sick.
Ooh.
Play Tet. Do not, Mike. Come on, dude. I feel like
don't
that's
overthink
a troll.
Right? That's
don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You gotta play Tet. If Tet is healthy, you play him. I mean, you just have to. Especially in a game where Carolina has to win, everybody's going to play. They're going to play hard. Even if I'm sick and I'm playing for the Carolina Panthers, I'm playing sick because you have a job to do. Job's not finished.
I don't think so.
I think Mike's getting the Patriot brain over there. It's okay. Like, no, we're not starting Kyle Williams. Tet, obviously, number one dude in that offense, 25% target share. Like, he's the guy that you want in Carolina. They're not Kyle Williams. Come on. No. Shakir or Pittman this week. We got Buffalo taking on Philly, and then Indy's playing the Jags.
Ryan, you go first on this one because I don't know what I want to say.
I think you go Pittman. I think it's close. Isn't the weather supposed to be really bad in Buffalo too?
Yeah, I'm pulling. I was actually trying to look up I was looking up the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, and that's got a slight chance of thunderstorms. I think it's supposed to be snowy up in Buffalo. Definitely going to be rainy. Oh.
Yeah, they had the whole city shut down at one point, I think, this past weekend.
You're right. You know what? I probably should have checked in. I have just a ridiculous number of friends that play fantasy football that live up in the upstate New York area. Like I should have checked on this before. But it says it's definitely going to rain 59%.
Because you got Florida brain. You don't have to worry about this weather like us Midwesterners here.
No, it's like slightly cloudy outside, but it's like in the 70s.
But I think beautiful. I think for me, even if the weather weren't a factor, I think I still go Pittman here. I mean, you got the grizzled gunslinger in Phillip Rivers, Matt. I know you watched The Good, Bad, and the Ugly this past weekend, so I know that you know what I'm talking about. I mean, who still looks, by God, still serviceable at 45 years old, and Pittman's still the guy there. I think if they're going to have a shot to upset their rival and play spoiler on potentially winning the division, especially with Houston winning, Jacksonville is still in a must-win situation. They're not secure by any means. They have a wild card spot, sure, but they want to win the division. And Indy has nothing to play for but to play spoiler. So I think the team's going to go out there. They're going to be a lot more gung-ho than normal. And Pittman's still the guy. And if Phillip Rivers is going to find the open man, Pittman's usually the open man.
Yeah. Well, you teed me up perfectly for this one with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because I was going to bring a quote on here. The best Clint Eastwood quote from that movie is, "There are people with guns and there are people who dig." And I think that Phillip Rivers has the gunslinging mentality. I think, look, at the end of the day, Pittman's the better receiver. And I like Khalil Shakir, but we have seen his ceiling shrink this season. It's not been what he once was. If you got that Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir stack in fantasy the last 2 to 3 years, it has quite literally carried you through some of those lull weeks. But this year, Josh Allen is not really focusing solely on him. They're using a lot of the tight ends, and they're not using them at high volume either. So it's not even like they're startable options. I hate having to play a Buffalo Bills receiver of any kind just because you never know whose week it is. Michael Pittman, it's almost like they reversed roles. Pittman over the last 2 to 3 years has been somebody where it's like, I don't know what to do with this guy. Do I put him in as a receiver? Do I make him a nice flex option so it looks better in my lineup? You never know what to do, but Pittman has been consistent. They have had an offense that has worked. I do think that Shane Steichen's the right guy, and he runs the right offense for them. Their quarterback situation is extremely unfortunate, but Jonathan Taylor is such a good player, and he has been so good this season that the teams they've had to stack the box more. They've had to pay more attention to Taylor because he has taken over weeks, and that has benefited Pittman. But we just talked about how the Jaguars' defense is good, but the one weakness I do believe is their secondary. As much as I gushed about them earlier, they don't have a guy in the secondary like they once had with Jalen Ramsey, where it was like, okay, we're shutting down this side of the field. You can't exploit them. Honestly, my favorite receiver for the Colts is Alec Pierce, because for whatever reason, nobody pays attention to that guy, and he is like a poor man's Deshaun Jackson at times. So I do think it's Pittman over Shakir here. I don't think it's a confident lean either way. I just think Pittman's the better player.
Agreed on that. All right, who else we got here? Hunja wants to know Ramondre or Harold Fannin Jr. The Patriots, I see this note down here that the Patriots have their whole offense sitting. But the Jets are also giving up since week 13 the most fantasy points to opposing teams' running backs. So I kind of don't hate Ramondre, but Harold Fannin's like the only person that Chitter is thrown to, though. Do you guys have any strong feelings one way or another?
I was going to say, I've got kind of a bias for Fannin Jr. because I was lucky enough to meet his family at the Expo this year. I'm not sure if you saw that, where at that big party, they were just kind of chilling in Canton watching their son play a preseason game, which was kind of cool. So it was, I just love stories like that where the family was getting together and they were just like, oh my God, my son's on TV. But honestly, Fannin has usurped Njoku as the main tight end target in that offense. The problem I have with him is I saw a little nugget this morning, actually, that he has not eclipsed 50 yards since Shedeur Sanders has been the quarterback. However, he does have 4 touchdowns in that span. So he is a red zone threat that is being schemed for and he's being looked at. But I'm with Mike. I don't see the Patriots taking this game super serious. One, because it's the Jets. But two, Henderson was cleared to play. But do you really want to throw him out there with potential concussion lingering issues when you've got Stevenson, who all but just stole the job the first 5-6 weeks, regardless of how many times he fumbled? Vrabel was going to feed him the ball. So I can see him in a spot this week over Fannin, as much as I hate to do that, just because I think Vrabel trusts him enough to just kind of ride this game out, get to the more important games later on, and potentially clinch a 1 seed if something falls in their favor this week.
Yeah, and Mike also does point out we got the MetLife scaries going on today for sure. I went back and looked at Harold Fannin. So who started week 14 against Tennessee? Did Shedeur start that week? Because he had 114 yards, but beyond that though, like he hasn't. It's been 44, 26, 40, 43, 48, 34 yards. So he's, I mean, like a lot of those tight ends touchdown dependent.
It seems like mostly the 40 yards is right about the floor you're probably going to be getting, or even potential ceiling. For me, I think league setup does matter with this. If it's tight end premium, I think it's Fannin, no question.
Absolutely.
But then I look at it from the other side too, that even in standard, I would think I would lead Fannin only because they're playing Pittsburgh again, trying to play spoiler to the division rival, especially, Myles Garrett's trying to break the sack record against Aaron Rodgers. Like, they're going to play hard this week. And Shedeur, when things get tough, what do the rookie QBs do? They look for their safety valves. And the safety valve at tight end is 100% Harold Fannin. I think that there's going to be opportunity, and I think that translates to points, especially depending on league setup. If it's tight end premium, he's a smash play every week, set and forget.
Yeah,
if you need a tiebreaker, I'm playing Fannin against Ryan in our home league Super Bowl this week. So he just hyped me up to think that I might take it over because I'm starting Fannin agast him because of a hurt George Kittle.
Oh wait, no, then don't play Fannin.
No,
at all, ever.
He's terrible. Steelers are giving up the third most fantasy points to opposing teams, tight ends 17.4. So you do love, not as much as the Bengals, but you do love that very much so. So sorry. We'll get to the Bengals tight end matchup here pretty soon. Speaking of Myles Garrett needing one more sack to break that record, do we think that he does it against Aaron Rodgers today, or do you think that they throw like Mason Rudolph in there for like a second, let him get the sack record, and then bring Aaron on in? I can't imagine.
I think there's
Aaron
a potential homicide situation if they put Mason Rudolph against Myles Garrett out there to break the sack record. I do not want that on our TV screen because there is definitely a strong history there. I'm hoping he doesn't because they play the Bengals to end the year, and I do want to have something to watch for the Bengals the last week of the season, and it would be kind of cool to see a record like that be broken against my team because we're terrible. And you know what? Why not just lean into it, Stacy? Reality, though, Rodgers isn't a mobile guy, but he is pretty mobile in the pocket. He does know kind of the ins and outs, and he's got that he's got that mentality of like, okay, 1-2, got to get the ball out, or 1-2, step up, 1-2, step back. So he's not exactly the easiest quarterback to sack, but he is old. And it is a AFC North division game, and those are just ugly rock fights.
Yep.
So I think if you were betting yes or no, I do think he does get a sack today. The question is the statistician going to give him a half sack or a full sack, like that weird little up and down we had last week, where he somehow his aura got the sack last week against I don't even remember who it was, but he did not get that sack. Should have been Mason Graham.
I can't imagine that Rodgers is going to be okay with letting that happen. Like, I think he'd have a full-on meltdown, like, if he got the, record against him.
He would need another darkness retreat, probably.
100. He'd be smoking ayahuasca on the sidelines. That's exactly what would be going on. Rodgers is my favorite quarterback of all time. He is weird as hell, but I still love him. And do I occasionally watch highlight reels from back in his Green Bay days just to make me feel better? Maybe. Maybe. Who knows?
We have been spelling relax in our household for 10 years because of that press conference where he told everybody to just chill out. RELAX. Relax.
I love it. Love it. Okay. John has a question for us in here. Is this one of your notes?
God. Yeah, it's our father. This is insane.
Yes. He wants to know Tonjes or Brenton Strange. Not that he's going to listen to you two. You want me to tell you who? I'm going with Brenton Strange, John. I've loved Brenton Strange all year long. I thought it was just absolutely tragic that he missed so much time on the IR. I've got him fired up in 2 of my leagues. What's nice about Brenton Strange is that he's not touchdown dependent like a lot of these tight ends are. So you can count on him getting you some points on the ground. He's, back. He's clicking with T-Law. Jacoby Myers is there. It seems like these two are his guys, that he feels like he can trust going forward. So I'm all about Brenton Strange today. I do love a little dice roll on Jake Tonjes, but if you've got a choice between the two of them, I like a little bit more consistency, somebody that for a fact, what his role is. I think it's probably a bigger McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings game for the Niners today. You never know what can happen, but I think if I got to make a choice between those two, I'm going to feel a lot better throwing Brenton Strange in my lineup than
I hope they both get negative.
That's fine. Only if Trey McBride gets like 50 points today, and then that's fine. Hey, what is your dad like upstairs, Matt? Can he come down and join us?
Yeah, he honestly very well could come down. I am streaming live from his basement, so and this is not a softball question. He 100% threw that in there to try to make Ryan and I look dumb, and it worked because you know what? You probably had the best answer that we've given all day, and you gave it to my father, who I'm sure is going to use that later on, and if he wins, he will brag about it all weekend.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope Brenton Strange as well, like selfishly also, because I am starting him. Oh man. Yeah. Papa Montgomery, come on down, make an appearance. Come hang with us here on the show.
You don't have to.
That's fine, man. It's cool. Just say you did.
I'm just like looking at the door behind you, Matt, and just like up here in a minute.
I won't be able to focus if he comes into frame.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Last question today. Are the Patriots getting that W over the Jets? We got Drake. Here's a fun fact that I found on ESPN. All right. With another road win on Sunday at the Jets, the Patriots' Drake May would become the only starting quarterback under 24 years old to win 8 road games in a season since starts were first tracked in 1950.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You've been doing so well, but I have a rogue fan that wants to say hello that did listen to you.
Yes! Welcome to
Papa Monty's on the stream. It's about time.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Brenton Strange.
Yes. Fire him up.
Sorry.
So happy. Oh, that's so great. Oh my goodness. Man. All right, Drake May.
We're back on Drake May.
Drake May, right?
Yeah. Where did that come from? I see that everywhere, and I do not understand the joke. I think it's funny, but I just would love to know the origin of Drake May.
It's like
it's just I don't get it. It's a weird internet thing.
All right. I'm sold. I'm into it. I'm weird too.
All right, yeah. So if he gets a win today on the road against the Jets, he's going to become the only starting QB under the age of 24 to win 8 road games since 1950, according to ESPN. Does he get that W today?
You want to go first, Ryan? You look disgusted.
Yeah, I'll go first. I do think that they get the win. If the rumor is true that they're going to start resting some people, it could get a little sketchy. I think the last I checked, I think the line was like 13.5 New England, which I think is egregious for me as a gambler. Like, I will always take plus 13.5 on any NFL team. I do think the Patriots get the win, mostly because, that Jets offense is just, what even is it right now? Breece Hall doesn't look like Breece Hall. They're stacking the box up. Brady Cook is basically Max Brosmer with slightly better stats. Like, they just don't look good. And the real issue won't be whether or not, they can stop anybody, because I do think the defense is solid. It's okay, but their offense is just non-existent. And especially with no Garrett Wilson, they're throwing out Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Smith, like just random, Mechie, just random, used car salesman basically at wide receiver at times. And I just don't think that'll translate to any sort of wins. And yes, Kyle Williams
legacy. Let's go, Mike.
Make that a DFS. Don't put that in your lineup. Like, I cannot tell people to start Kyle Williams on championship week. Go make some money off of that. Don't put him in your lineup. You're being too cute there, I think.
Look, there's not a lot of records that Drake May is going to have the opportunity to get as a quarterback for the New England Patriots. I think he's going to take this game super serious. I think that it's, winning 8 road games, that's another bar trivia thing where nobody's really going to think about it. But you don't think that Drake May knows the shoes that he is trying to fill in New England. And the same with Mike Vrabel, trying to fill the shoes of Bill Belichick. This is not only a good stat for Drake May at quarterback, but it is also a Mike Vrabel. I took a quarterback that nobody really knew, yes or no. Is he a franchise guy? Does he just have good PR? Who knows? He's got an opportunity here to do something that even Brady didn't do. And that's something that in New England, he's already kind of a made man in New England. They're just happy that they have a franchise quarterback that's not named Tom Brady and a franchise coach that's not named Bill Belichick. This is new territory. Everybody's excited. Obviously, Mike's excited. He's talking about Kyle Williams like he's Randy Moss. But the reality is they're finally back to being their own identity of, okay, the new era has begun, even if he is the second best May in his family.
Are you
besides my boy Luke May? The North Carolina Tar Heel basketball player who single-handedly beat Kentucky in the Final Four on the way to a national championship. That is my favorite team of all time.
Oh my God, Matt, are you a Carolina fan?
I am a Carolina basketball fan.
God,
Ride or die. Don't tell me you're Duke.
Absolutely. Go Devils. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Fun fact for you, Ryan's trolling sports history, he was a Duke fan. And it was 100% as kids because I was a Carolina fan.
Yep, 100%.
I'm a Duke fan. My family on my dad's side's from Kentucky. Wildcat people. Wow. And to be a jerk as a child, I rooted for.
So not only do I not like you, I don't like your family either. That's nice to know ahead of time. So maybe next time, tell me that ahead of time.
This is why Mike didn't tell us this. This is, or else we would have never agreed to this today at all. Real quick, while we're talking about the Patriots, just kind of to go that. So Diggs was one of my starts today, and a lot of it. I'll tell you why. Obviously, they're missing Hollins, missing Booty apparently too now. Since week 13, Jets are giving up the 13th most wide receiver points and 5 touchdowns, but also there's incentives today. So I get that they might be sitting a lot of them today, but for Stephon Diggs, he's already got $500,000 based on his receptions. If he gets 4 more catches, he gets another $500,000, and he's 131 receiving yards shy of another $500,000. So I'd be
telling Kyle Williams to keep my helmet nice and warm while I'm out there running all these routes.
Hold that jacket for me. I'll be back. But I just have a feeling they're going to do, like, he's so close. They're going to do what they need to do to get him that money. Like, I kind of think that's going to happen. That's why I was big on Diggs this
And I'm not
week.
sure if you've read the tabloids, but the guy's got a lot of kids. That's a lot of child support. So he needs that extra couple $500,000 paydays, especially to keep up with that Cardi B lifestyle he's living now.
Listen, who has more money, him or Cardi B?
It's got to be Cardi.
It's got to be Cardi. It's got to be Cardi, right? It's got to be Cardi. Yeah.
New England went from Tom Brady and Giselle to Stephon Diggs and Cardi B as the royal family.
A new era.
My favorite thing over the last couple of weeks was somebody posting that, like, can you imagine that, you know, sweet little Ann Michael May and Cardi B are in the same WAG group chat?
That's
I was like, oh, that's got to be so great. I would love to see those hangouts and be a fly on that
too,
wall.
honestly.
That'd be amazing. I actually want Bakemas is over, but what if we had a Cardi B like crossover? What if she came over and did Bakemas with Ann Michael May? That would have broken the internet, I think.
I'd watch.
100%.
I'd watch.
I would absolutely
must see TV.
Yeah.
As long as you get commentary from Drake May and Stephon Diggs on the Bakemas crossover event, that would be must watch TV, because I would love to see how Drake May and Stephon Diggs interact just one-on-one like that.
Right. Just in the wild off the field.
Well, it reminds me of the video where everybody talks about the video of Stephon Diggs when he was in Minnesota, and they did that trend where it was like, what player on the team would you not want to date your sister? And it was almost unanimous for the Vikings. They all said Stephon Diggs, keep him away from my sister. And it's so funny because he's almost like embraced this role because it's true. But seeing him, he's performing as good as he's ever performed, all jokes aside from all the Cardi B and the girlfriend stuff. Stephon Diggs is he's not the same guy. He's clearly an older receiver, but everywhere he has been a reliable number one receiver. And we're starting to see that come back with the emergence of Drake May in this offense. Stephon Diggs is now a credible number one receiver. So all of those incentives, 130 yards, that's a lot, but the Jets defense also gives up a lot of yards. So that one, I think, is probably your plus 1,000 bet. And don't take gambling advice from this Monty. Take it from the other Monty. I would probably go. He's probably going to get 5 catches, and he's at least going to flirt with that 130-yard number, because I do think that it's a boys' club, man. They want to help each other out, and I think that New England's got that tight-knit, come on, let's help each other out mentality.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know we're getting a little close to noon, so I know I want to move on real quick to our starts and our sits so we can get to our DFS and our prop bet info too. Is there Ryan, I'm gonna start with you. Is there anybody else that you're looking to start this week that you are absolutely just really high on?
100%. And don't let this sweater, spoil what I'm about to talk about. But I think the must-start smash pick, if you have him, is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, the last 4 weeks, is the hottest quarterback in football. He's got almost 1,200 all-purpose yards, 14 touchdowns, no turnovers, over a 100 quarterback rating. He looks like the proverbial MVP candidate if the year were the last 4 weeks. I mean, he looks absolutely unbelievable. And we mentioned earlier in the pod, this is Clemson Trevor Lawrence happening before our eyes. Liam Cohn has finally figured out what he does well. The acquisition of Jacoby Myers earlier in the year has completely turned Trevor Lawrence into one of the most reliable quarterbacks you can start. And that wasn't the case for probably the first 8 to 10 weeks of the year. And I hate saying that as a Jags fan, but he just was not who he was now. Yeah. And so I can understand that fantasy owners might be overthinking it a little bit. Do not overthink this. Do not overthink Trevor Lawrence right now. His last game against the Colts, he had 240 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He looked good. That's not going to lose you a week if that's what the floor against the Colts is. The Colts, Sauce Gardner's back, so that's a little bit of a question mark. Is he going to be playing on any sort of snap count? They just put DeForest Buckner back on IR, so that helps. I mean, I just don't think you sit your studs. This is the Super Bowl. Don't get cute. Trevor Lawrence is the hottest quarterback in football the last 4 weeks. You have to ride that wave until it's done.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm actually starting him in one of my championships this week, so that makes me feel good about him. You also had Tyler Warren here on your list, and I wanted to bring this one up specifically. There's a girls group chat that we do, and one of the girls in here, also named Stacy, was having to deal with the George Kittle situation earlier, and so Tyler Warren is her other option. But she was asking all of us this morning, do I go on, do it waivers? Do I go try to find somebody off waivers, or do I go with Tyler Warren? I think you might be able to answer that for her.
Oh, for sure. And, off screen, Matt and I have been talking about this exact point. I have Tyler Warren as a glaring sit this week. I love Tyler Warren. I think he's absolutely going to be such a good tight end for years and years to come. These first-year tight ends that do well don't happen often. but this is one of the few scenarios I would urge owners to look elsewhere if you have other options. The last 4 weeks, tight end starting yardage against the Jaguars, 36, 13, 15, and 29. Tyler Warren was the 15. He had 2 catches for 15 yards the last time that they played Jacksonville. That could lose you a week. If you're in tight end premium and you get a tight end that's 2 catches for 15 yards, you don't want that. So whereas in any kind of other matchup, I would urge Tyler Warren. I know a lot of owners may not have that many other options. I would just strongly urge to look elsewhere if you can, because I am concerned that Tyler Warren could lose the matchup. He's only had single-digit points the last 3 weeks. So as long as Phillip Rivers has been there, Rivers hasn't been looking to him as much. And that concerns me as an owner.
Yeah, agreed. We told her to go look. She had Taysom Hill was an option for her. And I was like, you know what? Weirder stuff has happened. Weirder things have happened. I don't know.
I can't shake my head left and right fast enough. Do not trust your fantasy championship on Taysom Hill. I love it. I think it's cool. It's like watching old Shoelace Joe back in the 50s who can do everything with the football. He can throw it, he can punt it, he can run it. Football ain't that way anymore. He's not getting 12 carries like he did last week. We're just seeing nobody knows what to do with Taysom Hill. Doesn't matter the coach, doesn't matter the quarterback, who's around him. Don't do Taysom Hill. And I can't just sit here and let Ryan slander my boy Tyler Warren. Okay, first of all, your friend Stacy has penthouse problems if she's got George Kittle and Tyler Warren as her tight ends. So kudos to you. The reason you're playing this week is because of constructing a team like that. Tyler Warren had a bad game as a rookie against a good defense. Okay, that's not anything. 2 for 15, I think is what you said the stat line was. You don't think that this dude's watched schemes? Devin Lloyd is an anomaly at linebacker. Nobody knows if he's good. Nobody knows if he's bad. But what I can tell you that he is bad at, and what he is primarily asked to do, is cover receivers or cover people over the middle. He's kind of their cover linebacker, similar to what Logan Wilson was for the Bengals. He is easily exploitable, though. He is one of those players that you can beat on that defense, and that defense is loaded. But he is a guy that I've never been a big fan of. He's a guy that he's either going to have a pick six and 10 million tackles, or he's going to be the guy that gets burned on the highlight reel. And I think that the Colts with Phillip Rivers, it's a bit different of an offense. I like Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones did exactly what he was supposed to do in Indy. But Tyler Warren has Phillip Rivers throwing him the ball now. It's a different quarterback and a different offense that's going to be designed to get the ball out quicker. And he's not going to have Daniel Jones' brain. He's going to have Phillip Rivers' dad brain, where it's get this, get there, quick, immediately. All right, let's go down there. Maybe some dad gums on the way down to the line.
Absolutely. There will absolutely be some dad gums, 100%. All right, Matt, real quick, give me one of your starters for this week.
Michael Mayer for the Raiders. Everybody, I know Brock Bowers going down is a gut punch, but he's been a gut punch all year. When Michael Mayer has been given the opportunity to be the number one option, he's provided us with a reliable floor and a tremendous upside for his ceiling. Week 6 was the best example we can get. 5 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown on 7 targets. Ignore the stats. Look at the targets. The team is down Max Crosby defensively. He is the only person of note on that defense. And he's an edge rusher, so he's going to provide pressure on the quarterback. Duh, right? That means that they're not going to be able to get the quarterback flustered, and they're going to be down early and often in this game. And because of that, they're going to be forced to throw the ball. Mayer is a target-heavy, target-volume player. But if you need somebody, a Hail Mary this week, somebody like your friend Stacy who is questioning a Tyler Warren, and you really want to roll the dice, I think Michael Mayer is the perfect guy that probably was on waivers. Probably not right now if you've got savvy managers. But Michael Mayer is the perfect player to just plug and play, and you know the floor is stable with the upside for a touchdown and some high-volume targets.
Yes, I love that. All right, do a sit real quick. Who are you absolutely staying away from?
Marvin Harrison Jr. And I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. I am from the Ohio area. So it bums me out because he came in as he's kind of like the Trevor Lawrence expectations. We just haven't had enough time to see the career arc yet to see what he really is as a receiver. But he's just not been good. I think Arizona's quarterback situation has a lot of times contributed to that. But Jacoby Brissett is a good quarterback, or he's at least a stable quarterback for your receiving options. But Harrison's clearly hurt. There's something going on. I don't know why he's playing the way he is, but we're seeing Michael Wilson do well while Harrison's trying to figure this out. He's going to take the field today, but it's going to have limited snaps. And I just avoid players. I don't care what your name is. If your coach comes out and says he's only playing X amount of snaps in a championship week, I just cannot, in good conscience, put you in my lineup because I do not want to stress having somebody on my bench just have a better opportunity for targets as opposed to maybe what actually happens on the field. So target opportunity this week, Marvin Harrison Jr. probably doesn't have as high of a ceiling as he once did.
No, and y'all secondary has been really good against the wide receivers with DJ Turner. I mean, I really honestly, if I'm starting anybody from Arizona, for me, it's Trey McBride against the Cincy defense. Like that's the obvious answer to me right there.
Ryan, how do you feel about Trey McBride?
Oh, don't get me started. I lost a semifinal matchup by 3 points because Trey McBride has his one single-digit week of the year. I love Trey McBride. I ride or die with Trey McBride, but Trey, you let me down, man.
Right? I know. Like it wasn't the reason I'm in the championship of my Trey McBride teams is not because of him last week for sure. But gosh, like what a steal if you got him in drafts this year. Like everybody's taking Bowers.
Guess who traded him to me? Guess who traded him to me his rookie year?
Did you?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
So Ryan's the world's worst commissioner. All right, so every league we play in, you're allowed to play a flex player at tight end. All right, you can't in Ryan's league. Whatever. He's a bad commissioner. I can live with it. But I had Laporta and McBride, and this was the year after Laporta exploded. McBride had opportunity, but he hadn't exploded like he is now. And I was like, all right, I'm going to maximize the value. I'll keep Laporta, who's got a safe floor, high upside. The Lions' offense is fantastic. I trade McBride, and guess what? Laporta, the floor falls out. McBride's doing awesome. Ryan gets to the semifinals, and I just look up in the standings and say, why didn't I do this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Well, why don't we talk a little DFS, a little prop bets here? How are we going to make a little bit of extra after Christmas money? Ryan, talk to me. You're a professional gambler here. What should the people be betting on today?
Oh, I've got you. I was in the lab all last night. I was feeding, crunching some numbers, moving some projections around, and I have built what I believe to be the Omega Game Day Parlay, specifically for the Jaguars.
Don't call it that. Call it what it's supposed to be called.
The Omega Piss Missile Parlay, as I've been calling it to my brother. So, yes. One thing I do want to point out first, obviously, please bet responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. And remember, we're doing this for fun. You know, it's just to give you a little more adrenaline on your game day watch, especially if you've got nothing to play for like me. I'm in no Super Bowls this year, aside from the redraft one that Matt and I are in. So I kind of need a little extra oomph on my game day Sunday this week. So
a little skin in the game today.
The first line that I have is Trevor Lawrence 225 plus alternate passing yards. He's exceeded that mark in the last 5 games. He's the hottest player in football. We've talked before. Their team's chasing the 1 seed, so Trevor's going to go out there and play hard. And the last time they played against the Colts, he had 244 and 2 touchdowns. Trevor looks good. I think if the Jaguars are going to lose, it's not going to be because of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going to be throwing the ball all game, regardless of how far up they get. I mean, they proved that the other game against Denver. They were constantly getting the passing game involved, regardless of what the score was. And I think that will translate to a good chance for a high yardage mark for Trevor Lawrence. Second line that I've got, Alec Pierce, 50-plus receiving yards on the alternate line. He's exceeded that mark in 4 of the last 6 games, and the last game he played against Jacksonville, he had 5 catches for 80 yards. Much like Matt said, he's just, why aren't people talking about Alec Pierce? Alec Pierce is a lot better than people give him credit for. In that game against the Jaguars, he had 8 targets. Targets are opportunity. Targets are the highest chance to get opportunity for yardage, especially when it comes to betting props. If you look at these targets, usually those guys get higher yardage marks. And Alec Pierce, especially with a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, who is going to always see the open guy, because that's what he's known for. If Pierce gets open in this kind of offense where, Matt, you talked about, the linebackers having some issues in coverage, Alec Pierce is the kind of player that can exploit that with his speed, and Rivers is going to see that open man. I think that translates to yardage today. The third line that I have Travis Etienne, 70-plus alternate rushing and receiving.
Hate that one.
Ooh, really?
Hate that one.
He has exceeded that mark in 6 of the last 8 games. And the last game against the Colts, he had 74 rushing yards and 8 receiving yards. My thought process is this with that. If Jacksonville gets up early, if the Colts, they're still banged up, if Rivers isn't showing that he's old man Rivers, gunslinger, if he's showing geriatric old man Rivers, Jacksonville could get up early. And when that happens, who's going to be tasked to set the tempo for the rest of that game? It's going to be Travis Etienne. Regardless if he's catching passes out of the backfield or if he's running, Etienne is going to be tasked with setting the tempo for the second half of the game once they're in maintenance mode. Jacksonville's already clinched a playoff spot. So I do feel like, yes, the offense will still be humming. They may not have to be on the gas as much because at most you're really banking on a team to lose to make the 1 seed. It's kind of a snowball's chance to make the 1 seed. As a Jags fan, I would love to see it happen, but it requires things that are out of Jacksonville's control. And because of that, they may try to take it a little easier than normal. So Etienne, again, may be relied upon, especially with Bashul Tutin out this week. The only other running back is the Quinn Allen. So Etienne is going to be 100% focused in that game, regardless of if they're behind or if they're ahead. He's always going to have opportunity. And the final line that I have, which is a 4-legger, you put it together, $10 pays out $73, give you a little more juice for your game. I have Jonathan Taylor, 60-plus alternate rushing yards. He's exceeded that in every game aside from 3 this year, and one of those games he only missed it by 2 yards. So he is the model of consistency at the running back position in terms of yardage for specific lines. Again, the only way that Indianapolis is really going to keep off of Jacksonville's high-powered offense is to keep them off the field. And the only way you're really going to do that is if you're ground and pound, hitting the trenches, running the clock out, which Jonathan Taylor was made by a higher power to do. He is the prototypical starting running back that I would love to build a team around if I had to choose a starting running back. Prime Jonathan Taylor is perfect for that kind of opportunity. Keeps the offenses off the field. He just grinds hard for that extra yardage, and he can 100% showcase that in a betting line like this.
Nice. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, Matt, give me some DFS plays.
Really quick,
can do that.
Ryan is known in our house as 4-leg Monty because he typically does 5-leg parlays and he always misses one. And I'd love it that he shortened it to 4 specifically for your pod, so that way this would not come up. I am not a big DFS guy, so I want to start off by saying that this might come with some ignorance. But I do like as all right, cheaper option at the quarterback spot. I know with DFS, you got to balance your budget, all right? Obviously, you want to play those high-value guys as much as you can. I like Jackson Dart this week against the banged-up Raiders defense. He's coming off his worst game as a professional. And Jackson Dart does not strike me as the type of guy that doesn't read the New York headlines, all right? Him and Scatabo are like eating drywall for Christmas dinner. So I think that he's the type of guy that's going to want to go out and he is going to try to outdo himself. He wants to show the world. Last week was an anomaly. Raiders don't have edge rushers right now. They're going to have Tyree Wilson playing for Max Crosby. They've got Jonah Lualu on the defensive line. I can't even say the guy's name right. I guarantee most people probably don't even know that guy's name. And I'm an IDP guy and I don't know his name that much. So I'm telling you, the Raiders are not going to get an effective pass rush unless they're blitzing. And if they're blitzing, I do not find that their linebackers are going to be good enough to get to the quarterback, to get to Jackson Dart. And he is a very good off-script player, so much so that it's actually causing some injury concerns early. But his rushing upside, paired with the fact that the Raiders defense is not going to be able to apply pressure, really leads me to believe that he's going to have a good game this week. And then Ryan told me that this was the dumbest bet prior to the show. And then in this show, doubled down and told me it was a dumb bet, but he didn't say it to me because he knew it was eventually going to come to it. I'm betting the house on the Patriots to cover 13.5 against the Jets. In a division game, those are usually close games. I get it. It's a big number. Ryan doesn't like big numbers because Ryan likes conservative bets. 4-leg Monty likes conservative bets. Well, Matt Monty, the big brother, likes to gamble. He likes to push the chips in the middle here. I think that Drake May, I mentioned it earlier, there are not a lot of quarterbacks records that you can beat in New England. He is walking into a situation that he is never going to be looked at as the best Patriots quarterback. But he does have an opportunity today to get a record of 8 road games in one season. I think that's amazing. I think you have to be able to just go at them when they're a bad team. The Jets are not good. And I think that Mike Vrabel he's about as perfect of a football guy as you could get, where he is like, this team is not better than us. Let's show our division that they're not better than us. And I think that they could run the score up a little bit here, maybe not to 50-0 or something stupid like that. But I do see them easily handling this game and then potentially winning by 3 touchdowns.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I typically do not give DFS advice because usually if I tell you to bet on something, you should just do the opposite. And that's usually going to make you some money. But I did have one really fun thing that came up this week, and just to put my money where my mouth is, I did do this myself. So already put some cash down. We're only allowed to use Hard Rock bets here in Florida for stuff like that, which kind of sucks. But it's Dawson Knox, Bills tight end. He's one reception away. And this is, again, more incentive stuff. I looked up different incentives that were in play for the end of the season. And this was one that came up. He's one reception away from a 100K bonus. He's 37 receiving yards away from another 100,000. And he's one touchdown away from another 100,000. And so I love it. If you go back and look at his numbers against Cincinnati, against New England, put up just monster numbers for him, had 2 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. Not so great against Cleveland. That was a different style game. I'm not really too worried about that. Josh Allen just tends to love Dawson Knox. He's not somebody that I'm starting in my lineup every week, but I think stuff like this is kind of fun, and throw a couple bucks on it. Like, go make you a little bit of money, like I think they're going to, again, they're going to do what they need to do to get these guys the points, and 37 yards out of him is not, impossible at all. 1 touchdown. That's where Josh Allen loves to get the ball to him. So I don't know. I threw that in there. I probably cursed him now, so he probably won't even get it. But who knows? I thought it was a fun one. I thought it'd be just like, just like have a little fun with it, right?
I like it, but I'm not the gambling guy. That's all right.
No, I like it. You're going to get the most, the best amount of try from him because of that. Because of those incentives, he's going to play harder. He's going to want to, get more open, maybe have a little extra speed in his step, to make sure that he gets that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Real quick, before we do Maddox's Monday Night Football picks, we got a question that just came in. Cornelius wants to know, PPR, pick 2. We got a Jay Johnson or Strange or Tonjes over here.
Strange and Tonjes.
Yeah.
I hate Juwan Johnson. I just can't do it.
I think it's Strange and Johnson. Johnson has been the model of consistency for tight end recently, and especially with Tyler Shuck needing that, starting to kind of ascend to that next level. Is he the franchise quarterback? Is maybe, potentially, we're possibly seeing it. And part of the reason why is because Juwan Johnson has been the model of consistency there. His floor is pretty safe. He's not going to lose you a week.
I can't let you do this without saying that. Would you trust a maybe, potentially, kind of franchise quarterback, or Brock Purdy, the $100 million man, who is a franchise quarterback?
You could make the argument, does he deserve that $100 million? That's a conversation for another podcast.
That's an off-season conversation for sure. I actually had Tyler Shuck on my start list this week. It's a really good matchup with Tennessee. During the last, I think since week 13, week 13, the Titans have allowed the 3rd most QB points. They've allowed an average of 106 QB passer rating and 8 passing touchdowns. So I don't know. I'm kind of into Shuck this week, especially as a streamer. If you need somebody, if somebody's gone down. So I don't know. I think I like Johnson and Strange. I think I'm gonna go with you on this one.
Always knew I liked you, Stacy.
Always the people you least expect break your heart.
Guys, I hope that helped everybody. If you've got any last minute questions, get them in here real quick. We've got Maddox's Monday Night Football picks. Those of you who wanted to know, he is 7-12 in his picks right now. There's one week that we didn't do it. We refused to pick the Packer game. We'll see who he's kind of, he's a puppy, right? So we had to give him a little extra motivation to make his choice today. I don't know if he just really hated this game or not, but you guys will see. Here we go. So he usually comes in just like a little bull in the china shop and is jumping all over the place. And this week he was just like, I don't think so. I'm thinking he took the Falcons is kind of what it looked like. I'm not sure. I can't ask him. He's taking a nap right now. He ate the treats from both one. He ate the treats first from the Falcons hat. So I think we're gonna go with he's gonna go for the upset with the Falcons. We'll see. Notoriously, he doesn't do well on these. So again, just like his mom, don't take DFS advice from Maddox. But he's still cute, so it's a good time.
Adorable.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning again, spending your Sunday over Christmas break, hanging out. Matt, Ryan, tell all the people where they can find you, where they can find your content, and how they can give you a follow on socials.
Ryan,
Matt,
take it, man.
Oh, Ryan, go for it.
Oh, sure. So I don't have very many things to promote. I'm still fairly new at all. This is only the second podcast I've ever done, so I appreciate you guys having me on and let me kind of start getting my water wings on me. But I'm very big into sports collectibles. I have an eBay store that's Cashew Sports Cards. So if you ever want to talk sports collecting, sports cards, anything fantasy, you can find me on there, find my stuff, and let's talk football. Always willing to talk.
Nice.
And
Matt?
I do the DGens IDP Blitz I did for Dynasty DGens here on the channel. Hopefully Mike wants me back, but after all of his Patriots takes, maybe I don't want to be back. Who knows? And then I also do footballguys.com. I do all my writing on there. I just finished up the stock market article, which is a weekly IDP article I do through them, and then various roundtables about players, off-season work. I do a lot of are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? This year was not my best year, saying that Myles Garrett was going to be somebody that I would avoid. Don't take this year as the example. I promise I kind of know what I'm talking about here, but I did take some big swings and had some horrible misses this year. But that's where primarily I do all of my writing. And then, like I said, the Dynasty DGens here for DGens IDP Blitz. That's where you can find me. And then at Matt Monty FF on X. That's what I'm really trying to build if you want to provide a follow.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, you can give me a follow at Stacy_Perez83. We will be back. I don't know necessarily next week. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing. Fantasy is going to be over for us after this week, but I think we still might get into some of those playoff challenges, doing some drafts, that kind of fun stuff. So once I figure that out, we will get that information out to you guys, let you know. But it has been a blast doing the tailgate on Sunday mornings this season. Just thanks to everybody who's watched throughout, the year, and everybody that's joined us as guests and come on and thrown questions in the chat and everything. Just appreciate all of that so much. It has been a really good time, and I will definitely be sad once the season is over. But there's always off-season stuff and everything, so that's how you guys can find us. Have a great week. Have a great day. Win your championships. Make a little money. Until then, guys, we will see you later.